Yo, 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 hello, and welcome back to the Lenko Show. I am your host, Alex Lenkowski, and today we're going to be talking about a very prevalent question and one that I think is important to work out and actually consider if you are an athlete. And I asked this, I nearly stabbed myself through the hand with my pen then. I asked this on my Instagram stories earlier on this week, and basically the question is, how does losing affect you? Just to kind of gauge the kind of responses that people would have, what kind of goes through the mindset, the process, any particular actions that they take after that, and how they ultimately will push on and move forward. So, what I'm actually going to do is share some of these responses with you and kind of break down and see what we can actually take from it and see what we can learn from it. So, let's begin. Number one, the answer to this one was that it's a momentum shift for the day or a momentum shift of the day. So, basically, winning or losing can make or break your day. Very, very simple. And I think it depends on ultimately a lot of the time the amount of effort, the amount of time, the amount of energy, the training, the blood, sweat, the tears, like even the particular reason for the defeat. It might be a referee's decision. It can all ultimately tip the scales and massively affect your mood, which that's something that you've got to be able to look after your own sanity. And sometimes it can be incredibly difficult to actually pick yourself up afterwards. Now, I think when it comes to losing, I think losing and like being injured and it's kind of like a grieving process. Like I don't want to liken it to the same level of losing a loved one, losing a relative, or essentially people dying kind of thing, because it's like there's levels to this, right? You can lose in sport and it's upsetting. You can lose in life like that in a catastrophic way, and it's beyond upsetting. It's beyond compare. You can't reason with it. But the feelings, the emotions, the psychological process is still very, very similar. So, yeah, losing can absolutely crush you, and not going to disagree with that in any way whatsoever, especially if you've poured your heart and soul into it. So, that is number one, momentum shift for the day. Obviously, winning can work in the opposite way. So, if you win, it can lift your mood. If you're a Man United fan like me on the minute, you're on a bit of a roller coaster and a downward spiral of depression and disappointment. Another answer to this is it devastates me. Sometimes for a week plus, I feel anger or deep failure, but then feel motivated. So if I was going to pick that through a little bit, I think my response to that was like, that is also me. Depending on the scale of the defeat, the size of the defeat, the nature of it, I would absolutely go and live under a rock and go very, very quiet. Like I'm normally quite busy and active on social media. I tend to share quite a lot of things. I don't necessarily like doing it, but I feel like it's important to engage with you guys and get things out in the open. But certainly, like if we had the national final earlier this year and we had two international games, one against France, one against Denmark, if I'd have lost either of those or any one of those games, I would have been absolutely gutted. I would have been in the worst mood possible. Like my wife wouldn't have got in the car with me to drive home. She would have got a lift home from my dad. I would have been in the car on my own. I would have been silent. I would have not said a word to anybody or anything at any point. Uh, Same with the France game and the Denmark game. I would have just been completely silent. I would have just gone and sat in my hotel room. I wouldn't have even bothered going out. I would have just been completely miserable, absolutely miserable. And I think it's also important to acknowledge that if that is you, if that's your immediate response to a defeat, you've given everything you possibly can, and you've fucked up and you've failed. It might even be your fault. You might even be somewhat significantly responsible for the defeat and for the reason. But it's fine. It's fine for you to feel that way. Like it's normal. Like there's no way that you should be accepting losing. If you want to be a high level athlete, there is no way you should be accepting losing. Like if someone tells you you're a sore loser, I would take that as a compliment. Absolutely would. I would take that as a compliment. I would prefer that, and I would prefer that over being comfortable and okay with losing. You have to understand that losing is still part and parcel of the competition. Like, you can lose at any point, any time, for any reason, but it doesn't mean you have to be okay with it or accepting of it. You just have to be able to figure it out and deal with it. So in terms of feeling devastated for a week plus, I think I would, I mean, I would be if, sorry, I'm still trying to write down some notes for this. I would be devastated for a week plus if I didn't have anything else to focus on. Like, if that was the end of season, if it was a final, if it was kind of like a fundamental part of your life and that was it, it's over, it's gone, I can quite easily see myself getting hung up on it for a long time. However, in a sense of, I would normally get back to work, I would get back doing something the next day. It doesn't mean to say that it wouldn't grate on me still. And if you do think back to a particular game where you've lost and you felt like you should have won, or an important occasion where it's gone wrong, would you take it back if you had the chance? Does it still irritate you? Does it still piss you off? Absolutely. And that is perfectly fine. And I will come on to this later, but that can be extremely useful. Very, very useful. Again, I think this is the important thing. Like, you can feel anger, deep failure, you can feel it for 24 hours, a week, but then after that, feel motivated, which was included in this answer. So, and I think it's important to then use those emotions to actually drive you on and kick you forwards after that. So let's get that written down. Then feel motivated. You've got to feel motivated afterwards. If it doesn't piss you off, if it doesn't fire you up, you're not in it for the right reasons. You maybe not even in it at all. Next one, I like this one. How does losing affect you? And then the response to that was, I don't know who she is. Good. Don't dance with losers. Don't be a loser. So there's not much to pick out of that. Like, everyone knows what losing is, of course, but yeah, don't acknowledge it. Move on. Just move on from your loss, your defeat. Get on with it. It's irrelevant now, but you can use it for motivation further down the line. Now, next one. I like this. This is sent from, I think, one of my teammates. They just said, wouldn't know, haven't lost when it counted for a while. And we're talking like, I think 3 or 4 years would now be the important kind of games that this person would have lost, maybe even further back than that. And then he also said, but I actually like the humble pie. And here's a little note as well. If you are on that winning streak, and if you are absolutely flying and nobody's tearing you down, you have to remember you have got a target on your back and you've got a pack on the hunt. Like, no one stays at the top unchallenged forever. It doesn't happen. Eventually, you get pulled down from your pedestal and you can come down with quite a bang. You need to be doing everything you possibly can, preparing as well as you possibly can to make sure that that does not happen. So bear that in mind. Like, obviously, if you like the taste of humble pie, eventually, don't worry, because it is going to be coming for you. Right, okay. The next one. No, that was a response to what does winning mean to you. So I'm not gonna go into that one today. There was another one for winning. Right, how does losing affect you? So it pisses me off for days, fuels me up for weeks, and a big loss adds more time on both sides. So obviously, the greater the loss, the greater the depth of the defeat or the occasion, it will piss you off for even longer and fuel you up for even longer as well. This is where my response to this was that motivation is the fuel necessary to keep the human engine running. You need to use it. And I don't just mean use the loss, use the defeat. I mean, use it, use everything. And I take the approach of, I will be the most resilient motherfucker anyone will ever come up against. I do not care. My sense of self-preservation is limited. I will give everything I possibly can every single time. And if someone isn't willing to go the distance, I think that takes care of it. But I don't know. I don't know whether that comes across as really arrogant. I mean that in a sense of, I will not quit. Period. End of. I will not quit. And I am going to, like, especially once I'm done with playing American football, once I don't know if you can call it a career, but once my time as a player is over, I will be pursuing as many different tasks and challenges as I possibly can to see if I come across something that makes me quit. I think it's just comes down to being resilient. And to do that, here's where I was going with it. To do that, to become that resilient person that doesn't quit, doesn't give up on anything at any point, is to use anything someone says. So this is the way I approach it. Anything that someone says about me, I use it. Whether it's positive, I'll use that, but especially if it's negative. And here's probably how narcissistic and egotistical I am, is that even like when people don't say things about me, that pisses me off, because I'll think, what the fuck is that motherfucker not saying nice things about me? That gets to me, that annoys me, and I don't know why. Genuinely, it annoys me, it irritates me. And then also defeats 100% are fuel for the fire. Wins also fuel for the fire. Like, go and back it up, go and do it again. You got target on your back, you think you're the big dog, go and prove it again. So whatever it is, it's all fuel for the fire. Throw it on and go. Absolutely throw it on and go. The next one. Right. So this was another good one. So this is I like this one. This was, I pretend to use the 24-hour rule, as in I pretend to use the 24 hours and it's done with, forget about it. You can be angry, you can be upset, you can be pissed off for 24 hours and then that is it. They say, I pretend to use the 24-hour rule, but inside it doesn't go away. Now, my response to this was a little picture, a little graphic. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll try and show that with you there. Hopefully you can see that on my phone. It is two people climbing up a mountain, carrying like a boulder or a pallet of wood or something like that on their back, up a hill, up a mountain. And this is the thing, it never goes away. It will never go away. Once you've lost, if it was a big occasion, big defeat, it's never going to leave you. It's part of you now. And if it's going to be part of you, you might as well fucking take it with you voluntarily and find a way to make it useful. Find a way to make that burn. Like, find a way to use that as fuel for the fire. And if you can do that, you're winning. That's a bonus. Like, if you lost, good. I've been watching a lot of Jocko Willink as well recently, where he's saying, oh, something's gone wrong. Good. There's a problem at work. Good. You can fix it. You fucked up in a match. Good. Right, deal with it. You lost a game. Good. Deal with it. Figure it out. Make sure it doesn't happen again. Next one. 24 hours, review, learn, move forward. Good process. Really like that. Review what happened unemotionally. Do without the emotion. Learn from it. And not in a sense of just watch it mindlessly and go, oh, fucking hell, I can't believe this, that, the other. Watch it with a critical eye. Watch it as like Gary Neville on Monday Night Football might watch something. Pick it apart, pick the bones, analyze the tactics, techniques, positions, decisions, all of it. Think about it. Understand what you could do differently if the same situation arose next time. And then you've got it in your back pocket for next time. It's a free training session. That's what it is. It's a free training session. You can learn from it, analyze it, deal with it, get it gone, move forward. Job done. Next one, right. Ruins my days. People that say it's the taking part that counts should be banned. This was sent from a Wolves fan, believe it or not. Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair. I agree with it. Like, yeah, it definitely ruins my day temporarily. And then 100%, if you think that it's the taking parts that counts and that's all that matters, you belong in a participation sport and not in competitive sport. So go and enjoy your Sunday evening kick around, your midweek mess around with your mates. That's cool. Carry on. There's no medals, no prize money, nothing serious going on, but good competition. And yeah, if you're playing to a competitive level, of course the results matter. Like if you're moving, again, I'm speaking to the potential like junior athletes amongst you, or those who have definitely got a future career on the horizon. This is something that is very exciting, very positive, and certainly something worth looking forward to. But you must understand that results matter. Every single thing you do matters. How you perform matters. The results at the end of the day, end of the season, 100% matter. People's jobs are on the line. Your career is on the line and is a direct reflection of how you perform within those circumstances. So make sure you always bear that in mind and follow these processes. Review, learn, move forward, keep making progress. That is it from me for tonight. I'm just trying to keep this as a fairly short, succinct episode for you because I am getting bashed from all angles with various different things. So I will speak to you soon. Take care and make sure you're back in for the next episode next week. Take care, guys.